Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
Is the next search on February 28, 2020? 7:44 p.m. How, does the FBI find people? And people is misspelled P-E-O-O-P-O-N. Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
What more can you see? Because he's the guy.
Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Come on in, take a seat, everybody. I see you filing in an orderly manner. Thank you. We need a bailiff.
The apocalypse may be upon us.
The apocalypse, it may be upon us, Judge Boyd. You are not wrong. Welcome. I started a little early. I think I started a few minutes early. Or maybe I'm a few minutes late. I don't know. Please tell me I was early. I'd rather be early than late. I know time is just a construct, Rob would tell us. But it was not a construct for Adam Nusky, who was first in chat this morning. Congratulations, or this afternoon. What more do you need to see? Adam Nusky, because
he's the guy.
He is the guy. He's the winner of the internet this afternoon. Adam, you know what the drill is. I'm 12 minutes late. I don't think so. And I say that only because nothing is happening in court right now. Zero. It's like ghost town.
I'm not a cat.
Adam's not a person. He's one of the people. Love it. Welcome back. We are starting the afternoon session of the arrest movie trial, the Hannah Gutierrez trial. She is the armorer. And let me just say, I saw some lyrics there in chat. Let's see. Was this Greener? Greeners. Yep, it was Greeners. Hey, now you're an armorer. Get the prop gun. Get paid. All that rattles is gold. Only shooting live rounds breaks the roll. Okay, it's a weird song, but I know what you're saying. I cannot sing that. Please don't clip that, Phil. If there's any kindness in your heart, you'll leave that out. Just pretend that didn't happen. There isn't. Your soul is a rock. I know you. All right, let's see. Braxton Heaps says, I'm in a work meeting now, but I'll call in after. Awesome. Can't wait to hear our favorite tech guy giving his take on the day. BG, almost 4 months as a member, longer as a lurker. LOL. Love this community. You're all truly amazing humans. I agree. You guys are. Breezy says, I have a clip for you. All right.
The zombie apocalypse may be upon us.
It might be upon us. Well, Judge Boyd, the sound effects, for those that are wondering why there are strange sound effects happening, if you're new to the channel, during the between times when court is not in session, we generally turn up the effects that you, the viewer, have control over. And some of those sound effects,
Are we going to address
like that one right there, can be triggered by you guys through by saying something like cat and subject matter jurisdiction. Is that correct?
Is that correct?
There it is. These are all triggered by commands that can be entered in chat. Once court starts, we have a lot of respect for the court process itself. I would say that we as a chat like to police ourselves, and we don't do that during session. Generally, we don't. Usually, if you see someone that is triggering the sound effects during a court session, first of all, I turn the volume down.
Somebody just sent me a video of roaches fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who won.
Don't miss the forest for the trees.
Right. But during chat,
How does he do that?
During trial, we turn it down. Generally, if somebody does trigger it during court, it means they're probably not on the live view, so they think we're in a break. So don't like jump all over somebody as soon as they trigger sound effects. Anyway. That being said, we've got to figure out. Let me show you what we've got. We have.
When are we going to break
Super
for lunch,
Source. We just had lunch. Super Source.
I'm not a camel.
So we have this view right here, right? We have our ABC, our Alec Baldwin counter, and you guys are doing a great job updating me with the latest count. And I'm trying to stay on my toes. And sometimes I'm so quick that they're still saying Baldwin when I'm hitting the update button. So if you're going to tell me that I need to update it, please make sure you are watching during that moment Not just like that you heard something mention Alec Baldwin and then came over to your computer and said, now update it, because I'm getting conflicting reports and I don't want the count to be off. I also need you to periodically...
The zombie apocalypse may be upon us.
Maybe periodically to check to make sure you're live, that you're not like a few minutes behind, because that really gets confusing. So,
are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
Update on the artwork for the thumbnail, please, and thank you. That's going to be channel 7. Well, do you hear this? My phone is doing the duck sound. Stop. That's my timer. All right. The update on the artwork. All I've added is one little guy down here. It's the little horse in the middle. The rest just got moved around a little bit. But we took the dollar bill and we're flying it behind the helicopter as a banner.
Sent me a video of roaches fighting. I don't know who won.
Yeah. So we're flying the dollar bill as a banner. We put the skeleton on a horse down here in front.
Stuff that is not relevant.
That's the representation of Alec Baldwin playing Dead Man on the Horse. Is why we have that. No, we're not going to put a gorilla or any cats on here. I saw what you guys did. Let's see. Bree sent me a video. Oh,
the zombie apocalypse may be upon us.
1 second. That's your favorite. That's the newest sound effect, the zombie apocalypse. That happened just a couple days ago in Judge Boyd's courtroom. Let's see.
Hey, now you're an
Bree, was that you? Was that you?
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
Okay, somebody sent me a clip that quick of me badly singing All-Star. Okay. You're fired. All of you. You're fired. All right. We might have to add, I don't know if anything else we need to add to the graphic right now before court comes back in session. Let's see. There was possibly, here's a suggestion, possibly a chain. What do you guys think about having a chain on there? No, Taylor, I'm not going to play it. I know what it is. There's a reason I don't go back and watch my live streams. It's because I hate the way I sound. I don't know what you guys, I don't know. Anyway, okay. I sent you the one of the name of her phone so you could see your facial expression. Let's see. What did you send it on Twitter? Let me check X.
How does he do that?
There it is. Okay. Sent me a link. Tap to unmute.
Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
Whoa! Sorry, I should have caught that one.
Did you?
I fixed the sound. It wasn't working there for a second, Bree, but then it did. Thanks, Bree. Thanks for nothing. Okay, no more phone. No more phone. We cannot.
Somebody just sent me a video of roaches fighting.
Everything we do on the phone from now on has to be on the delay. Oh man, you guys are the best. All right, here we're waiting for court to come back. Oh my goodness, that was the name of her phone, right? That's.
The zombie apocalypse may be upon us.
That's funny the second time. No, it's not. I was trying to get the sound effect working. I'm like, why did she send me a clip of my own live stream? I'm not sure what that is. But, yeah. I told you what I sent so you could see the face in real time. Oh, no. Well, just warn me to not play it live on the air. Let's see. Amber. Oh my goodness, Amber, I'm going to need you to get it together. Clearly, chat needs to be policed heavily today. I'm not medicated today. I'm feeling fine. And, oh my goodness, it's been crazy. This has been a spicy day. I told you earlier on that this might be a sleeper at the beginning. There's going to be some slow parts, but it will get funnier. It will get a little spicier as well. And we're not done with our phone yet. I mean, I almost have to keep my finger on the mute button. I've been really, really good. Really good.
Giving you flashbacks.
Yes.
The zombie apocalypse may be upon us.
The church needs a name. Lieutenant and deputy called it makeshift church. Sign over the church windows on thumbnail. Makeshift? We put makeshift on it? The Church of Makeshift? Anyway, I realize we're talking about murder, and it's tragic. And there are people whose lives were changed dramatically that day, and whose lives still may be changed. We do like to take a lighthearted approach, not disrespectful, but lighthearted approach to it. Just because day in and day out, Amber, you're still laughing. Day in and day out, just talking about murder and about some of the heaviest and some of the worst behaviors we see in society can be heavy, and it sort of grates on the soul. We like to have a group of friends here who can get along, even though we don't agree on everything.
Don't miss the forest for the trees.
But a lot of times we do like to have some of these lighthearted moments, and that's what that is. So absolutely no disrespect at all intended to anyone who for them, this is a very difficult time. All right. Amber.
I just want you to know it's Thomas's fault that I even saw that clip to begin with, because I didn't catch that part live.
Stole it.
Check with Phil. Check with Phil.
Oh, I can't imagine what Phil's going to do later, and I'm here for it, and I'm going to share it on every platform for you.
For those that don't know, TYO Toys, or Phil, is on Twitter, and he loves to take the highlights of all. He just, I think, in my mind, he has like a computer station a lot like this one, only it has like 70 monitors, and he's watching every single LawTube adjacent true crime live stream that happens during the day. And he takes all that, and he can like just grab at will any clips that he needs, and he puts it together, and he makes these amazing mashups. Sometimes he puts them to music, so it's like he did "You Got to Keep Them Separated," that song from the separation talk that we had about the witnesses the other day, and it was classic. It was great the other day. Sometimes he gets me doing things that I
taking it easy.
Wished he didn't get. I think this might be in that same category, but great creative individual. So
there's a lawsuit.
We love him. All right, we're going to turn this.
I just have to apologize to Thomas, because I did just roll over him. Because he was the one that showed me the link. And then I have to say that Tina's comment is just priceless, and I might message Rob.
No need to alert anyone else. If he missed it, it's all right. It's okay. We don't need to spread this any further than it accidentally already went.
Oh, but see, we got to have the clip of you watching the clip.
It's the frantic trying to hit the sound button to turn off the sound. At least it was quiet. At least I had turned it down.
Not quiet enough.
Clip the reaction to the clip and then send him again in a clip. It will never end. It'll just be. I'm not playing anything else.
Okay, so on a serious note,
yes.
Earlier I had said that my biggest issue is how did the live rounds get on set?
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge question for everybody, and I got some slack, and I want to address it because I got rushed off the phone, and I might be rushed off the phone again if I don't stop laughing.
Yeah. I'm turning the sound effects all the way down for a minute so we can just catch our breath, because court's about to start, and we don't want to get thrown out of court by the judge.
And stop laughing. So I'm not discrediting the accountability that the defendant has, Hannah. I'm not discounting her responsibility in this. I'm saying the rest of the crew and staff as well need to be charged, fined, and fired, because it's kind of that whole, if you're going to keep your mouth shut, then everybody's going to be in trouble. So it's that one person that's going to ruin it, but it's really all 200 people that were on this set. It's not just one person ruining it, because nobody else is opening their mouth either. The other thing was that they might need to do live round shooting on set. That might be the case, but not in this particular instance. Not on the set. Not during this particular scene.
Are you talking about the other accidental discharge? They had two previous, right?
No. Right, but they were saying that the live rounds came over from the Yellowstone whatever set
1886.
because they needed. Yeah, there you go. So they were saying that those rounds came from that set. Well, that's fine. That was for that set. They had no business being on the set for Rust. And if the armorer is doing what they're supposed to be doing, they should be inventorying everything that comes in and out of or who has their hands on what when it comes to that kind of prop material. So there shouldn't have been any mix-up with live rounds and with dummy rounds. There shouldn't have been any of that. So, yes, the culpability is there as well on the armorer's side. But I'm not taking any kind of responsibility away from Hannah Gutierrez Reed by saying everybody else is responsible too.
Yeah. I think I was corrected. I think it's 1883, not 1886. I may have been wrong.
18-something.
It's a long time ago, I can tell you that. I think it was the Henry rifles were founded in like 1860 or something. It's a long time ago there.
Something like that, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. And there are a lot of mistakes that were made and a lot of quote-unquote accidents that happened, but they were all preventable.
They were.
And it's because of...
But I think there's a common link in every single chain. If you look at everyone else's liability or the chance they could have to catch this or prevent it, it all went through Hannah. And it looks like she was the one that brought it looks like the court started, but it looks like she's the one that brought the bullets onto the scene. And that was the problem. I think that was the problem. Seth gave her the wrong box.
Okay, so is that what I missed? Is that what I missed when I stepped away, other than the creative name?
Yeah, I think so. Seth could have given her the wrong box, but I just don't know. I mean, Seth, he had a messy warehouse, but the bullets were not. I mean, they had the only live rounds were in that 1883 bin. That was it. They were all marked, clearly labeled. That's the only place there were live rounds in that caliber. So I guess we have to put that caveat on the end.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I feel like the culpability still falls. I mean, there's some responsibility for when handling a gun. I mean, it's a real it's a real gun. It functions, and I mean, it's got the weight of a real gun. I mean, it functions like it's a real gun.
It is. It's not a prop.
It's not a prop. It's not a prop with an orange tip that's been painted black so you can't see it.
Yeah.
No, it's a real gun. So you handle real guns the way you're supposed to, which means that you're checking to see I don't care who you are. That's just my practice. So whoever had it in their hand before any of this happened, multiple somebody should have opened the chamber and looked. Just to verify.
Yeah, I agree. I think the whole, what color was it? Was it rattle? Everything else. The fact of the matter is, it was the armorer's job to make sure there were not real bullets in the gun. That's what it boils down to. And there was a real bullet in the gun. And where it came from, no matter which way you look at it. So if they were shipped to her on accident, it's still her responsibility. If she brought them on purpose and was using them for something else, it's her responsibility. If they went out shooting and forgot to unload the guns all the way and then took them out and was like, dumped them all back together, it's still her responsibility. I can't get past that.
Right.
But
Judge
is here.
I'm with you.
Judge is talking.
Pictures of the exhibits.
We need to go. So thank you very much, Amber. Appreciate you.
That's
right. Not a problem.
Bye.
Period. So that happens, you're out of here for the rest of the trial. All right. Thank you.
Hang on.
All right, let's call in the jury. Did we get everything straightened out? Counsel? I don't want to rush you, but did we get that straightened out, or do you need more time?
Thank you.
Okay, wait. Also on the court TV, also on the record, another order is that court TV is ordered to redact the phone numbers that were put up on the text messages because their phones are blowing up. And
they still have the numbers?
The solution obviously is redaction from here on out, but I'm going to say that the people that were taking pictures contributed to that. All right, thank you.
Okay.
So let me know when you want to call in the jury.
Wow. I redacted the numbers as they were read. I did not redact anything on the screen. It's pretty blurry on my screen. It was hard to see anything. I put 8675309. I believe in doing that all the time. But we can go back. We missed just a tiny bit of that. Let's see. Man. Apparently there was zooming in. The zooming in on the evidence, was what the first thing was? I'm trying to see if I can find the other. Okay. Hold tight. Here we go. Just rewinding just for a second. Let's turn on camera 7.
And I'm absolutely bothered that someone went on court TV.
Hang on, we're going to back this up just a second. We're just playing the audio from what happened just a second ago.
And I'm absolutely bothered that someone went on court TV and then took pictures of the exhibits. So you're not on court TV, period. So that happens, you're out of here for the rest of the trial. All right, thank you.
What?
All right, let's call in the jury. Did we get everything straightened out?
Someone went on court TV and took pictures of the exhibits.
Counsel, I don't want to rush it, but did we get that straightened out, or do you need more time?
Thank you.
Okay, wait. Also on the court TV, also on the record, another order is that court TV is ordered to redact the phone numbers that were put up on the text messages because their phones are blowing up. And the solution obviously is redaction from here on out, but I'm going to say that the people that were taking pictures contributed to that. All right, thank you.
Okay, so that's what happened. It sounds. I'm trying to piece this together, and let me tell you what I think it sounds like. It sounds like that the complaint that came to the judge was that our phones are blowing up because court just doxed us. They just put us out there. Oh, good. We've got a hello. In English? Yeah, I'm not sure what she said, but that's not English. All right, got a prank call right there, but they hung up. Anyone can translate that? Hopefully it was not something inappropriate. All right, so the judge heard that there was a complaint that people's phones were blowing up because these numbers were out there. I redacted the audio anytime that they were read in court. That's what I do. That's one of the things I've always felt is appropriate to do. We try to do that as much as we can. The phones are blowing up, but she says we're ordering you not to take pictures of the exhibits. So now it sounds like we may not see any more display. Like, I think she was mad. The terminology is a little funny, but I think she's mad that the court TV was pointing the camera at the screen because that's where the exhibit was. And then people took screenshots, not people in court, but people outside took screenshots of the live stream. And those are getting posted online and the phone numbers being shared that way. I would say that's not on court TV. And honestly, I don't think it's on the defense. It's on the prosecution. Redact your documents before you put them in. That is bad. Brandy Churchwell is in the house. 13th jurors. Thank you, Brandy. Good to have you here. Hopefully you've got a fantastic week on tap, Brandy. Thank you. Hope things are going as well. We have to talk again soon as well. Yeah, I don't fault Court TV for that. I'm not faulting them. But that was interesting. But honestly, we're basically on thin ice right now, and at any moment they might kick them out of the stream.
Oops. All right, is that better? We're going to go back through real quick some of those text threads that we had on the Elmo, and we're going to have you read the content, okay?
Yes.
So I'm going to place on the Elmo what was previously entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 96.
Let's see if Court TV got the message or if they show them again. These were shown to the jury before they could see them on their monitors. They were very difficult to read.
Can you go ahead and just read that and remind us if this is a message that was sent by the phone or received by the phone?
Sure. So this was a message that was received by Ms. Gutierrez Reed's phone from the Dadkula contact that says, get someone to show her a single action gun and how it works. They don't go off by themselves. And then beneath that is an incoming message from Mr. Bowles' phone to Ms. Gutierrez Reed's phone that says, yes, I sent her this manual I got today also.
What's the problem?
Mr. Bowles, is that the lawyer? Who's Mr. Bowles?
Do you want me to just read them?
Just read them. We gotta get this done. Thank you, sir. There's a State Exhibit 96 that I've handed you. Can you just go ahead and read it, explain to the jurors what you're reading?
Oh, she's shaking her head.
Yeah, so this is Exhibit 96. The first page I've just read. The second page.
And Mr. Hawks, what's the date of these conversations?
Sorry, this is December 1st, 2021. The second page starts with a message from Mr. Bowles to Ms. Reed.
Why are we hearing
that says,
Attorney
I think I sent this with an attachment. Beneath that is an outgoing message from Ms. Reed that says, yeah, honestly, that gun won't go off unless he fully cocked it. And then the final message on that page is a message from the Dadkula contact that said if someone could just show her, she could see a transfer makes no difference. The final page starts with an outgoing message from Ms. Reed that says, yeah, we got some that just aren't long barreled. They're the same thing. And then finally, message from the Dadkula contact that says exactly.
May I approach?
Okay, so that was the part of the 3-person text chain.
State's Exhibit 95.
So there's no attorney-client privilege when it's got other people involved, right?
95?
Certainly. So 95 is from November 8th of 2021, and the first message is an outgoing message from Ms. Reed that says, hey, I need you to check out my boxes and send me some pictures of our boxes of dummies. The second page starts with an incoming text from the Dadkula contact that says will do. And then beneath that is another incoming text message with a photograph.
And at my request, did you separate that photograph? Did you isolate that photograph for me?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you what's been previously entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 69, and we're going to do this the quick and old-fashioned way. Can you see that?
Yes.
Sorry for the dirty screen. What is that?
That is the image that was sent via text message, via iMessage, to Ms. Reed's phone from the Dadkula contact.
Thank you, sir. May I approach?
Yes, we are live.
Mr. Hawks, in addition to doing some work on Ms. Gutierrez's cell phone extraction, did you also do some work on cell phone extractions from some other folks involved in this case?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember their names?
There was a woman named Sarah. I don't remember her last name.
Okay.
And a gentleman whose name I don't remember. But
Okay.
I'm sure I would if you refresh my memory.
Well, I'm going to leave that to defense counsel. and I will pass the witness.
Thank you.
Okay, so that obviously had to have been something that was argued over, that text chain argued over in a pretrial motion. So we might have to dig through that and see what the ruling and argument was on that.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
You mentioned you did some other extractions. Does the word Dave Halls ring a bell?
Yes.
All right. Is that the other phone that you looked at?
Correct.
All right. And Judge, if I can publish just to his screen, please. Sure.
So I can see what's on his screen. Is that okay?
You can stand there, stand here, wherever you would like. It'll be quicker to do it this way because then I can publish it if the judge admits it. Okay.
Here, why don't I just stand here and I'll look over your shoulder? That's perfect. Sorry.
Yeah, that works.
Sandra, congratulations, 9 months of support. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what happened with the live stream, with the exhibits, with the phone numbers being shown.
What are you looking at?
What's on that screen and on your screen is different. I'm showing you.
I disagree with the judge in this one on pointing at court TV as a problem because as we saw in every other trial, the party that is admitting the evidence is generally the ones that have to redact or should redact the personally identifiable information beyond what they need to identify the document itself. So phone numbers, addresses.
I'm looking at the first page of a PDF of a Celebrite report that was done by the New Mexico RCFL.
All right.
Of the phone that you just asked me about.
All right. And can you scroll down to the second page?
Yes.
All right. So what is this device information? What does this tell you?
So this is a summary of the data that is in this PDF report. It involves chats, native messages, which are, in this case, iMessages, WhatsApp, emails, timeline, and then data files, which include images and videos.
Okay. Is there information about deleted information on this device?
There is.
Can you tell us about that, please?
So the report indicates that there's one deleted iMessage and one deleted WhatsApp. In addition to that, there are 5 deleted emails, and there are some deleted images, but without knowing what the images are, I don't know if they're things that he actually deleted or if they were cached images that got purged.
And how many images are notated on the report as being deleted?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, help yourself.
Sorry. So there's 152,237 images total, and there's 1,438 that are deleted.
You can just hold on to that.
And then 3,214 videos with 7 deleted.
Okay. And when you're looking at a device and you see that something's been deleted, what does that actually mean? What is that telling you?
It means that it was deleted and recovered. So if I delete something from my cell phone and it's overwritten, or that memory is actually purged, then it's not recovered and there's just no evidence of it. So this shows that there were items that were deleted and recovered by the program.
All right. And you have no way of knowing if additional things were deleted because it just wouldn't be extracted. You wouldn't have the information to look at.
Correct.
All right. And in your experience, do you know that sometimes happens?
I know that it can happen. I mean, if it's not there, I don't know that it was there to begin with and was deleted.
but it certainly can happen.
Okay. Actually, I'll just leave this here with you. Sir, if you can go to the emails page on that document.
Can you make sure he's got the right one?
I do.
All right. There's about 20 emails in Mr. Hall's extraction here. How do you know that these are actually his emails?
So there's incoming emails. The top one is an incoming email. Just to avoid what we had earlier, it's to a Gmail address.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that account was installed on the phone, and this is an email that was received by his phone, signed in to an email address associated with them.
Okay, so that physical phone has access to that email address?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I would move to conditionally admit defendant's exhibit O.
Counsel approach.
Counsel approach. We're going to see how this gets submitted. The workaround, what they're doing with the witness now, they're not showing it on the exhibits. I can't fault Court TV on this one. They're trying to not show it on the overhead, and they're trying to work around so nobody sees what the numbers and names and the emails are. That it's the damage is done on that one, at least for these individuals. If there are more players that get wrapped up in these texts and emails, obviously that'll prevent that from happening with them. But yeah, I think the easy fix is redact the documents before they're admitted as evidence. That's generally something that the two sides can agree to quite readily. You can authenticate them and then admit a redacted copy. So it's a little bit of work for the legal teams, but they've got the people. I mean, this isn't a a one-man show here. I'm worried. I'm worried about this because this is the same judge for the Alec Baldwin trial. And if you think there's media attention on this one, wait for the next one in June and July. We're going to have international TV and everything with a movie star on trial, and here with the same judge, and she's going to have this fresh on her memory of how do we want to handle the courtroom procedure. She might just hold a grudge against Court TV and think it was them personally. She might say, you know what, cameras are no-go. We saw what happened last time. And you can take pictures from the gallery, but not of any exhibits, not of the jurors, and that's it. So this might drastically affect that next trial. We need a Hannah counter for the ABC trial, or the AB trial. All these attorneys should know better. Every single one of them should know better about redacting private information. And how do they still have the same phone numbers? I mean, once your phone gets taken by the police, I would reset, start over, wipe. I would be done. P. Cooper, we redacted the numbers from the audio stream as they were read. I just used my predictive analysis for that, but the fact that Hannah texted her dad asking for pics of the dummy rounds is proof Hannah brought bullets on the set, then did not check bullets. Guilty. Abby, I think this is why I get calls for Dwayne Bond. I got his recycled number. I can only imagine that his original phone went to the police because for all the collection calls I get from him. All right, so Hannah's taking some notes as well. She seems earlier in the trial she seems very distant, like guarded, like observing, and now she's much more aware of what's going on. You see her shaking her head as her text messages are read. She's twisting in her chair. She's made some facial expressions other than just sort of like a stone face. The judge just looked right at the camera, pointed, gave a look of disgust, and then was talking to the defense. because she knows the camera's pointed at them. I will say that normally it would not be strange for the judge's order for expanded media coverage in a trial like this to not allow them to show footage of the attorneys at a bench conference, at a sidebar. Okay. Let's see. You're welcome, Mystery Singer. I know you've made the comment a couple times. It just seemed appropriate right then to put it on the screen. I went back and looked. They were talking about the first video from yesterday not to not be shown. Then they were to let the reporters know after that of stuff that was not to be seen. One day at a time. That's how I remember it as well. There was just that one video that had a lot of the in the church body cam footage that was not to be shown. Everything else is case by case. All right. Donna Adams, lunch started today with a little bit of a bang. Judge came back a little bit fiery, and the first thing she had to say was, "Court TV, you're in trouble," because of what happened. Let me see if I can get back to that here, just the very beginning again.
Just kind of retrieve mine.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not going to play it right now. I'll save it and play it later.
And sir, you had mentioned emails being deleted. Can you say with certainty that emails were deleted from Mr. Hall's phone?
We'll celebrate recovered deleted information. So yeah, so it was recovered from it's a recovered deleted email.
Okay. And the email that actually went over that. Apologies. If I could approach again. All right. Sir, I'm handing you what I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit P. Can you look at the first 2 pages of that document, please?
Yes.
All right. What is that?
This is an iPhone 11.
Is it Sarah Zachary's phone?
I'm looking for the device name.
Counsel approach.
And I may just be able to stipulate.
Well, no, I need you.
Okay, the judge called everyone up on this one. While they're talking about this, I'm going to play the audio from how lunch started one more time, just to hear what's happening here. Let's see. Trying to get to the spot where it starts.
And I'm absolutely bothered that someone went on court TV and then took pictures of the exhibits. So you're not on court TV, period. So that happens, you're out of here for the rest of the trial. All right, thank you.
Okay, so I just listened again. She says, you heard that only in one ear. She says, I'm absolutely bothered that someone went on court TV and took pictures of the exhibits. That's not court TV. Court TV showed what they were allowed to show. But she's bothered that someone took pictures of it. And she says, if that happens again, you're out of here. So unless there's like a reporter that's in the courtroom that is like sending out tweets of what was on court TV, I don't know who she's speaking to. Is it the public in general? Anybody who's on court TV who takes a tweet and sends it to somebody? Because if that's the standard, we're going to be thrown out by the end of the day.
The state will stipulate that what Mr. Hawks is looking at is a cell phone extraction of the witness, Sarah Zachary.
Thank you. Judge, may I retrieve my...
Yes.
Thanks. All right, so with both Mr. Hall's phone and Sarah Zachary's phone, are the dates and timestamps listed in the extraction for text messages and emails, are those accurate?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
So everything in our phones in these SQLite databases is stored in UTC by default. What Cellbrite does is it converts it to whatever time zone we want it converted to. In this case, Mountain Time.
Okay, so the foundational testimony you gave at length regarding my client's phone would apply with equal force to both Mr. Hall's phone and Ms. Zachary's phone?
Yes, these are things that are written at the time.
Okay. Did you have any other role in this case? Did you do any other work in this case?
No, my primary role was to help the prosecutor sort of sift through various pictures and that sort of thing to make sure only images that were native to the phone came in, not cached images or things that were beyond her control.
You mentioned on direct exam that there are some things that you don't get in a extraction. Would one of those things be something stored on a cloud, like an iCloud?
It depends. Are you referring to a document or an image?
Why don't you describe both?
So if we have things on our iCloud, typically it can be stored also locally on the phone and on the iCloud, or in the case of photographs, your phone may keep a little thumbnail that is a link to your iCloud account. So in that case, the original photo would not be on the handset. It would be on the cloud, but that thumbnail is essentially a gateway to the original image.
Okay. If something is just on the cloud and you don't have a gateway, as you described, is there a way to actually go get that information?
You could get it with a search warrant.
Okay. Did you discuss doing any kind of search warrant to retrieve images or texts or video from Sarah Zachary that she may have in the cloud?
No.
No. Do you recall having a email discussion on October 12th, 2023 with Ms. Morrissey about this subject?
I don't. I know that Ms. Morrissey, if you're telling me I had one with her, then perhaps I did. I sent her some various subpoena language. I don't remember this iCloud being part of it, but if you're telling me it was there, then I did.
Would looking at the email refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Back to approach?
Yes. Can I see it?
Sure.
Mike, generally judges have discretion, and if the live stream is causing problems for the court, they have authority to throw it out, and they could end it mid-trial. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, but it could happen. We could have cameras thrown out. I do think she's mad at the wrong people, though.
Right.
Sounds like an objection.
Okay, this is for refreshing recollection, so you've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
See if you can refresh it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Let me know when you finish reading it, please.
I do think specifically with Hannah's phone, if she still has that same phone, it's compromised now. The amount of data that was released on that, the EI what they have the EIPDN, I forget what the number is, the unique identifiers.
Excuse me, read all of it, correct?
Just the top one.
I'd say she needs a new phone.
Okay. If it's refresh your recollection, let me know, and if not, let me know.
There it is. I was making up letters, and I guessed wrong.
So this is what I was referring to as far as...
So you're going to give that back to him, and he's going to ask
Yeah.
if this refreshes your memory to the question he asked you.
Yeah, did that refresh your memory, sir?
What I think I meant by that, and I'm not really sure, so I can't say with 100% certainty if I was referring to... I'm sorry, you have a question beyond that, or it refreshed my recollection of the conversation. Yes.
Okay. So on Miss Zachary's phone, you were requested to get text, videos, and photos from September 15th, 2021 to November 21st, 2021. And you indicated that there were some photos that were not on her phone but might be on her iCloud account. Did you have further discussion about how you might go obtain those photos?
No, I think what we're referring to the same thing. I believe my recollection is that I'm referring to the thumbnails. So if I were to download a thumbnail from a phone and you were to put it onto a television screen, it just gets blurry as opposed to the actual full-size image. That's my recollection of the full-size image may be on the iCloud.
Okay. And you said in here that there are no entries on the phone or image metadata, right?
Correct.
All right. I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Redirect.
Just real quick, Mr. Hawks. Is it possible for a person's phone to delete things without the operator of the phone intending for that to happen?
What do you mean specifically?
And I thought there was a discussion earlier when we were off the record that sometimes the phone automatically deletes certain things. That's what I'm referring to.
So you're referring to cached images.
Right.
So when we go to a website or social media, our phone will capture a series of images, and those images go into what's called a cache folder. And after a certain amount of time, that cache folder automatically will delete. But that's not from the person's camera roll.
And it wouldn't be from their email either?
Email contents?
I'm speaking about what Mr. Bullion was referencing with regard to Mr. Halls's deleted data.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
It wouldn't, no.
Okay, I just wanted to square that up. Thank you. I don't have anything further. Appreciate you.
Your excuse.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
And just for the record, I'm going to reserve, just in case we need to bring him back.
You're reserved. Don't talk to any witnesses.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't talk to any witnesses. So apparently he can talk to the press, just not to any witnesses. This is the strangest
The
rulings.
state calls Catherine Rowe Walters.
All right, so that was the end of, let's see, it's our Celebrate guy. Celebrate, not celibate.
You swear affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. All right, have a seat, talk into the microphone. Thank you.
It's the end of Jason Hawks. Starting with
Go ahead and
Catherine.
state your full name.
Full name, Catherine Elizabeth Walters.
Thank you. And do you go by Rowe?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty. Ms. Walters, were you a member of the crew of the movie Rust?
Yes, ma'am.
And what role did you have?
I was the unit production manager.
What does a unit production manager do?
A unit production manager is the person on set who is making sure the day-to-day operations go smoothly.
All right. And are you familiar with Ms. Gutierrez?
I am.
Your role on set, if a crew member needs something, would you maybe be the person they would go to?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to ask you, did Ms. Gutierrez ever specifically request from you additional training time with Mr. Baldwin?
Not to me.
Did Ms. Gutierrez request generally additional training days as an armorer from you?
No, not from me.
We understand that there was a prop truck on the movie set, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
During the filming of the movie, before the incident that occurred on October 21st, when filming wasn't going on, so in the evenings or on the weekends, how was that prop truck secured?
There's a side door on that truck, and the back door, the back roll-up door, are secured by padlocks.
And so that happened even prior to October 21st?
Yes, ma'am.
And who would lock the truck in the evening or for the weekend?
Either it would be the department heads or it would be the Teamsters who were maintaining the trucks.
And so were they combination locks or key locks?
I believe they were key locks, but I don't remember.
Can you tell us who had access, who had the keys, who could go get in the prop truck?
It would be anyone. It would be anyone who had the keys to do it. The department heads were the ones that usually had keys or combinations.
Who were the department heads? Can you just give us their names?
Sure. So for props, it was Sarah Zachary. For armory, and I believe that Sarah and Hannah shared keys. The other department heads would have been Sergey and a couple of others that I honestly don't recall, but they would have had keys to their trucks.
And they have keys to the locks that lock the truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you have a key to the locks?
No.
Well, did Ms. Gutierrez reach out to you a couple days after Ms. Hutchins' death and ask to meet you at the prop truck?
Yes.
And why did she want to meet you at the prop truck?
She was getting ready to head back home and wanted to grab some personal effects off the truck.
And were you able to provide her access to the truck?
Yes.
How were you able to do that if you didn't have the keys?
So after the incident occurred, we had the Teamsters pull all of the locks off the trucks and had a different set of keys so that the only people who would have access were myself and the Teamster captain were the only two people who had those access.
And why would the Teamster have access to the truck?
Because they were the ones, if they needed to move it for any reason, do any maintenance, any of those things.
Okay. You have actual Teamsters that are working on the movie set that are maintaining the trucks?
Yes, ma'am.
And driving the trucks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when Ms. Gutierrez, do you recall the date that Ms. Gutierrez asked you to meet at the prop truck?
I do not.
Do you agree that it was just a couple days after the incident?
I do.
Okay. And do you know everything that Ms. Gutierrez took out of the prop truck?
I do not.
Did you see any of the items that she took out of the prop truck?
I saw a few things, but I don't remember exactly everything.
Can you just describe to us the few things that you did see her take out of the prop truck?
I remember a couple of gun belts, and I think I remember a couple of cardboard boxes, but nothing other than that.
Okay. And Ms. Gutierrez took these items from the prop truck prior to the police executing a search warrant on that truck. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. I will pass the witness. Thank you.
Cross-examine.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, in addition to Ms. Gutierrez-Reed, you allowed other people to get their personal effects as well, didn't you?
From the set?
Yes.
Yes.
So after the incident, the law enforcement cleared the scene, and everybody thought it was clear, correct?
Correct.
And so you allowed multiple people to get their personal effects, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So it wasn't just Ms. Gutierrez-Reed?
Correct.
Okay. Now, with regard to that said, I want to ask you, were you aware of the camera crew walking off?
Yes.
And they were disgruntled?
Yes.
When did they walk off that set?
I received resignation emails the night before.
Okay. So this was the night before the incident, the night before the shooting. And these camera crew, and how many of them walked off?
My memory says 6, which was the full team.
So the full team, the full camera crew walked off set. So for the set next day, you have to get a new camera crew.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were you in charge of that?
It was a joint effort between myself, my line producer, Gabrielle Pickle, and our producers as well.
Are you and Miss Pickle, do you talk, or on the set, did you talk quite a bit? Did you talk daily?
Yes.
Okay, so, and I don't want to get into hearsay comments, what somebody else said, but were you aware that Miss Gutierrez Reed had requested additional training of Mr. Baldwin?
For Mr. Baldwin, no.
Okay, you never had that discussion with her?
No.
But do you know whether Miss Pickle did?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. So let's go back. You and a couple more people are trying to get the camera crew. Is that right? And did you get them for the next day?
We did.
Okay. You had to scramble. I mean, that night? Is that make calls that night?
Yeah, I was making calls at night and very early the next morning.
The camera crew that walked off because they were disgruntled, did they come to the set that next morning?
They did.
Do you know what they were doing the next morning? Did you watch them or did you see them?
Yeah, I was with them for part of the morning. They were retrieving their own personal effects off of the camera truck.
Okay. Did you see any of them walk around to other parts of set, or were they just getting their effects?
From what I remember, they were just around the truck.
Okay. The prop truck, during the day, that was not secured during the days of set. Is that correct?
As far as I know, it was not secured, no.
Okay. So during the day that filming goes on, and what are the hours of that generally?
Generally, we would start anywhere between 6 and 7 a.m. and go till 7 or 8 p.m.
Okay, so for approximately that 12 or 13-hour period, whatever it would be, that prop truck was open.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Theoretically, everybody on set could have had access to that prop truck.
Theoretically.
Okay. Now, you said that it was you and the Teamsters that would secure that truck after hours. Is that right?
It would be the department heads and the Teamsters.
Department heads and Teamsters.
Yeah.
Who was the person, the Teamster in particular, that would do that?
I do not remember his name.
Okay. After the shooting, do you remember who that Teamster, who that captain, I think he said was?
I would honestly have to go back through my notes. I cannot remember his name right now.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
And do you have your notes, or?
I do not.
That's okay. Okay, so you don't remember his name?
I do not.
Okay. Did you check every night before you left to make sure that prop truck was locked?
No.
Okay. Now, with regard to Miss Gutierrez Reed, my understanding is that you never heard any complaints about her.
I did not.
Okay. And that was the entire time of the arrest set?
Correct.
Okay. Let me ask you also, after the incident, after the shooting, I understand you went into the church approximately 2 days after?
That sounds correct, yes.
Okay, and you were going to remove media?
Yes.
Is that right? Were you trying to assist them to remove the media from the camera to see if anything had been filmed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was with regard to filming of the actual shooting, correct?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to remove that?
I was.
Were you able to determine whether there was any filming?
Of the incident?
Yes.
There was no filming of the incident that was recorded.
Okay. Do you know whether anybody may have had access to that camera after the shooting and before you removed the media?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. When you said there was no filming, are you familiar enough with that camera system to know whether, if they're looking through the monitor, that it has to be rolling?
They can look through the monitor whether it's rolling or not.
Okay. So your knowledge of that camera is they can look through it without it rolling?
Correct.
Okay. Now, with regard to that prop truck search, you were present for that search, correct?
I was.
And you also present for that search was Seth Kinney?
Yes, he was there.
Okay. And you remember why Seth Kinney there? Did he go to provide the code?
No, I think he was there because a lot of the firearms that were there were his. So he was there to be with the sheriff's office.
He was there with the sheriff's office when they arrived?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know whether he was let into the prop truck? Do you recall that?
I do not recall.
Okay. Were you in the truck or outside when the search happened?
Outside.
Did you look inside the back of that truck?
I did.
Did you see that prop cart in the truck?
I do not recall.
Okay. Now, if it was in the pictures, would you have any idea why the prop cart was in the prop truck?
I am confused by your question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me ask you this way. If the prop cart was in the prop truck, do you know who must have moved that into the prop truck?
I can make an assumption, but I do not know for sure who would have moved it.
No, don't guess. And if you don't know, you don't know.
No.
Okay. All right. You indicated you got keys to the locks for the prop truck after the incident.
Yes, sir.
And you said the captain teamster had one too.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have the combo to that gun safe?
No.
Okay. Now, you talked a little bit about Baldwin and safety training. Did you ever observe that training that was done with Baldwin?
I saw it from a distance, but I was not close enough to hear anything.
Okay. Did you observe that Baldwin was not really paying attention?
His back was to me, and they were up a hill. I do not know.
So you don't know that? Okay.
No, sir.
On the set, after it was over for the day, you're aware that Miss Gutierrez, Reed, Miss Ackery, everybody had to basically clear out. They had to leave. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So at the end of the day, it's fair to say they weren't accorded time to clean the prop truck because at the end of the day, they needed to go.
Correct.
And during the day, Miss Ackery, because this set's pretty busy.
Yep.
You agree with that? During the day, they're doing their prop jobs and their armor job duties, those kind of things, correct?
Correct.
So there's no time really to go back during the day, take a break, and go back and clean everything. And there's not at night either, is there?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Hunter. I don't have it.
Redirect.
Ms. Walters, I want to be clear. Between October 21st and October 27th, did anyone other than Ms. Gutierrez request to get items out of the prop truck?
Not to me. Not to my knowledge.
It was only Ms. Gutierrez that you gave access to the prop truck between the 21st and the 27th?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And on the movie set, did you guys hire security guards?
There was 24-hour security at the gate, but they did not walk around on set.
Okay. But if someone were to try to drive in, they would encounter that security guard, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And is this location convenient to get to?
Not really.
Okay. I think you indicated on cross-examination that no one complained to you about Ms. Gutierrez. Do you recall saying that?
I do recall.
Isn't it true that one of the reasons that the camera crew indicated they were leaving was because of the accidental discharges from firearms on set?
Your Honor, I'm going to object on hearsay. That would be the basis for that.
Well, I'm basically impeaching her because she indicated.
Counsel approach.
Whoa. Hang on. You're impeaching your own witness? To try to get after you got the testimony you want from her, you go ahead and try to impeach her with information that you actually want in for the subject matter. This is bizarre. I'm impeaching her, and because you can impeach with just about anything, right? That's like a gateway where you allow everything in. But to impeach your own witness, you're literally calling into question the answers that your own witness has provided. Okay, so this means we can't trust anything you say because look, you lied about something or you didn't tell the complete truth. It's a strange tactic. And it's right at the end. She's already got everything she wanted out of her, and now she's trying to get this extra little bit, which would be hearsay and would be hard to get in any other way. You'd have objections for relevance. You might have objections definitely for hearsay if it was through anyone other than the cameraman themselves. It sometimes happens, but it's not a good look, I don't think. I object to my own witness. I told you this case is going to deliver. This is a good one.
Ms. Walters, do you know if one of the reasons that the camera crew left was because of accidental discharges on set?
They cited safety concerns, yes.
Did they specifically say accidental discharges on set?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Wow,
and
she got it.
Mr. Bowles asked you about the camera crew coming the following day to collect their belongings.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think you indicated that they stayed at the camera truck.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And is the camera truck and the prop truck the same thing?
No.
In your experience, do people on the camera crew frequently bring their own equipment, stands, cables, stuff like that?
Sometimes, yes.
And did they on the set of Rust?
Yes, they did.
I always do.
Is that your understanding what they were taking?
Yes.
During the day, when filming was going on, was the prop truck being overseen by a driver? A member of the Teamsters that you hired?
He might not have been there all the time, but he was around, yes.
Okay. And I want to just ask you a couple of quick questions about your experience. How many films or productions, or even TV is fine, have you been the unit production manager on? Prior to this?
Prior to this? 3 or 4.
And did any of those other productions have an armorer?
They did not.
This was the first production you worked on that had an armorer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. I don't have anything further.
Little redirect or recross. Sorry, it's been a spicy one.
Just real briefly, I asked you earlier about, you were saying that you don't remember, you couldn't see if Mr. Baldwin was paying attention during that training.
Correct.
Do you recall in your pretrial interview that you did indicate that he wasn't paying attention?
I had been told he wasn't paying attention. I did not physically see it.
Okay, so, and I don't want to get into the hearsay comment.
Sure.
So, but you didn't see it yourself?
I did not.
Okay. With regard to the accidental discharges, were you aware that there was a discharge with special effects?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're excused.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Are we on 56 or 57? We're on 57? Okay. All right. We're all caught up now. So she ended up not impeaching the witness. But the judge allowed the question anyway, so the objection to hearsay was overruled. Trying to think what the reason would be. I don't know. That seems like a difficult one to get past. But the objection to hearsay was overruled by the judge. She allowed the question, and it was allowed not as impeachment, just a direct question. And she provided the answer that she knew why the camera crew had left. And they quit the night before. She had to scramble all night, late night and early in the morning to get a new crew on set to run the cameras because the entire 6-person crew had quit because of safety concerns. And specifically, they did mention accidental discharges. defense, when they get up on the recross, they heard the little comment and was like, I'm not going to get into the hearsay statement. He's still bitter that came in, right? Because the judge said it's not hearsay, we're going to allow it. We're not going to get into that hearsay statement, but wasn't there a problem with special effects? Well, yes, maybe in addition to that.
Okay, first of all, guess what? You need to approach again.
They are getting their miles in, back and forth and back and forth. Lots of approaching. Oh man, it sounds like the set was a mess. You've got a lot of. I think probably what played into this was the fact that this was a low budget film, and so they're trying to do big effects with low budget, and that means that you have to cut the corner somewhere. You have to trim the cost down so you can achieve that. And whether it's hire somebody who's not as expensive as an armor, whether it's hire the new people. Shave some time off, time on scene, because every day you've got all the crew and everything out there. Those are expensive days. Shooting days are expensive. And even days when you're not shooting, just having the set locked down and having, the rentals and everything, it adds up very quickly. So time is of a premium when you're filming. Selena K just gifted a membership and it went to Petrified. Congratulations, Petrified. Thank you, Selena. Let's see. Samantha says, for our newcomers, we do count something in every trial, or we try to in every trial, something that's just lets us take the focus off some of the difficult aspects of trial. This time we're counting how many times the name Alec Baldwin.
I don't know if you think it's your lucky day, but we're going to break early. I think from the faces I see, it's a good thing. Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right, but we have one question that we're going to ask you to go back in to your room and answer this question, and then come back out and get dismissed, and we give you all the don't forget language. Okay, it'll come clear to you. You're all going to go out. He's going to ask you that question.
What?
He's going to get your answer, and then he's going to give me the answer on that piece of paper, and then you all are going to come back in. Okay?
What is going on? The jury's been excused. George is asking them a question, or the judge has written a question on the paper. The jury will be asked the question outside the presence of the judge, counsel, and the observers. Well, the question is, what do you want on your tombstone? No. It's got to be something about... It's got to be something about their behavior. It's got to be something about their behavior.
All right, you may be seated.
Whether it's something that they should have been doing or something they shouldn't have been doing, or have you had questions you wanted to have asked? I'm spitballing here. Have any of you seen any of the pictures of social media posts? That's going to be it. So now they're going to their room. It might be a few minutes because it's a little bit of a walk. Does anyone need a job? Are we in mistrial territory? Possibly. Possibly. It's interesting that they're asking all the jurors this. Man. Something about the cameras making them uncomfortable. It would not surprise me if we had to bail on this case early because the judge ordered the cameras off the case. But I can't see why from a jury's perspective, unless the jury has violated the rules, which don't get me started on this. This judge, her rules that she gives the jury seem very lax. They're not very thorough. As a matter of fact, some of the instructions she gives them are so specific that it almost seems like it's permissible to do the very same thing using a different player. For instance, none of you are allowed to go watch the Court TV live stream of this trial. Well, guess what? There's a lot of live streams of the trial that aren't Court TV, ours included. None of you are allowed to talk to other, that she says to witnesses, you're not allowed to talk to any other witnesses, but they're allowed to talk to members of the public who have talked to other witnesses. It seems like she's left some holes. It's like Swiss cheese. These rules, there are so many ways to get through them or around them. We know better because we've heard, but some of these witnesses may not know better. I will tell you this. I think in cases like this and the Crumbly trial that we watched already, I wish that the person who was most directly involved in the incident, and whether that be well, in the Crumbly trial it was the son, but in this trial I'd say it was Alec Baldwin. I wish their trial went first. I don't like the order where you start with the weakest and then work your way up to the most the most culpable, at least to my perception. Hannah still looks stressed. The question is completely off the record, Richard. I'm not sure if we're going to hear the answer unless this ends up in a mistrial, and then it might be. Oh, geez, we've lost her. She was down for the count. So I did hear that we are ending for the day, and I'm curious as to why, because we're pretty early. Lots going on here. This is neck pop number 12. Hey, sitting there watching, straining, looking at the screen, I don't blame her. I would like have a chiropractor in there working on my neck during every break if I could. Can this trial outcome be brought up in Alec trial? Mystery Singer, you don't have to use caps. Just use my name. We actually prefer no caps in chat. But you can tag me with my name, and that'll be easier for me to see. The outcome, I don't think, would be brought up. But if, say, for instance, Alec Baldwin decided, yes, I'll testify in this trial, what he testifies in this trial could very much be brought up in his trial. That's probably why it will not happen. It's only 2:17. Okay, sorry, I just had to have a shouted conversation with my wife because she's in several rooms away. All right, it's Friday. That's why we're breaking early. What can the sentence be in a case like this? Crusoe, this is a great question. There are two charges. First of all, she's charged with involuntary manslaughter, and the secondary charges, she's charged with evidence tampering. Looks like George is back with the paper. See if we get a response here. Both of those charges are class 4 felonies.
We're waiting here for the jury, and Haven and I are, shooting the breeze. That it was being picked up on court TV, so people knew that I walked my dogs when I got home, things like that, and so we just want to make sure we were all kind of squirmish on which things trigger us going on court TV, so that's why we went in the hallway. We didn't mean to be secretive. We just wanted to take a breather on feeling, a little, tight.
This is the first time. This must be our first televised trial.
We wanted to share that because we didn't want to leave that impression. Okay, so they were supposed to write it down here, but you can tell me.
So do I need everyone to individually write?
No, I mean just. What's the answer?
What's the answer? Just tell me. Hannah wants to know what this is about. I want to know what this is about. Everybody wants to know what this is about. I can tell you what triggers the judge audio in the courtroom, generally in every other courtroom, is when the judge's butt is in the chair or the judge is in the room, the audio is on. When the judge leaves the bench, the audio goes off. That's like the golden rule for a pool photographer function. Also, it's really handy if the court has their own. These people just showed up. They don't know that we're about to break for the day. The court has the capability, because the audio system is being used to feed the audio of the pool TV. Because of that, the court can turn the mics on and off. When the court mics are off, the pool doesn't get anything. The answer is chili with beans. What do you want for lunch? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. George is still, there's a look of concern Look at the direction of the face. Look at the tilt of the head compared to. Okay, let's see what's up. Here we go. Please turn the mics on. Please turn the mics on. Look at this, the confusion on the part of the attorneys.
And I'm sure you all are doing it as well, counsel. You're doing the same thing I'm doing, right?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You're reminding your witnesses not to watch court TV?
Yes.
Okay.
And we did mention experts, but other than that...
No experts were included?
At the start, Your Honor, we talked about experts being able to watch.
Oh, I didn't understand it that way.
I think that we agree that our experts get to watch
Oh, okay, that's fine.
they
Okay.
would be allowed in the courtroom.
Yeah, okay, I misunderstood. So, anyone that's not an expert witness, please do not get on court TV to watch what has preceded you, because we invoke the exclusion rule.
This is a mess. It sounds like the jurors are now individually answering as to my guess whether they've seen something that they shouldn't. Okay, jurors are coming back. Oh, man. All right. You may be able to hear my kids practicing the piano in the background. Sorry about that.
Hello? Okay, jury, so like I said, it's your lucky Friday. So you're getting recessed, and please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court. Don't be looking at any news media accounts or any type of account, and anybody, and TikTok or whatever. And
she's expanded.
Don't Google anything.
Don't Google anything
about the Rust situation, the production, or anything, or about the trial, and don't do any research. Okay. All right. Have a very rested weekend. We'll see you Monday at 8:30. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So, Bing's okay.
And you know where to go on
Just
Monday.
no Google. Don't Google anything. Don't Google anything. Don't talk to Alexa. Don't check the weather. Just rest. Let's see if we have anything outside of their presence to discuss. We don't know why they broke early. We don't know if it's a question of available witnesses today. Audio? Come on.
Okay. Don't forget to get those exhibits. What were they? K through. Okay. Okay. Thank you. We're in recess. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. If anything comes up.
What the heck? What the heck? Keeping the audio on in case we hear anything else, but they're in recess. They're done. There was no. That's all we get. We might have to depend on some of the live the feeds from court to find out what happened. Let's see. Man, this This is nuts. I don't know what it is. We're left all weekend with wondering what happened. The fact that they dismissed, okay, because normally when the jurors dismissed, usually it's for one of two reasons, okay. First of all, the witnesses are not available. We don't have any more evidence to present to you today, right? So we have to end. I have to assume that's what it is. The other situation that could occur is we have something to do outside of your presence. There might be some items that came up or an issue that came up that we have to decide. It will take some time to deliberate. It might be a proffer involved with the witness that presents some information to the judge, and it's all over the place that way. But for here, we just don't know. It's definitely not something that has to be handled outside the presence of the jury with the judge because she's gone. So for some reason, no witnesses. And it might be something just as innocuous as that. I don't think I've ever used that word before in my life, by the way. Innocuous is the word of the day. But it might just be that we went faster through the witnesses than I thought. But we need an insider for sure. I will say once again, we had since lunch, Court TV has just been taking a beating from this judge, and I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong because I don't think they've done anything wrong. The judge is very loose, and with her descriptions and her orders, they are not very clear, or in some cases they're very specific and should be more broad. But this trial is strange. She's not used to TV in her courtroom. She's not used to live coverage of her trials. And because of that, it's presenting issues. And she was upset about what somebody did with a picture, a screenshot of the live stream that they allowed. And she took it out on Court TV, of all people. This is like Judge up in Idaho saying, "Hey, I don't like the fact that people zoom in on the camera picture and post pictures online of Brian Koberger, and so we're going to eliminate that." You can't do that. You can't just say, "Hey, this is in the public," but nobody's allowed to do anything with it. Anyway, so I'm concerned for the future of this trial because of this, because her lack of knowledge or understanding of how the system is working, even lack of understanding what is being televised and when with the audio is troubling. I don't think we've heard a lot that we shouldn't. We've heard some that we shouldn't. I mean, obviously her dog being walked, that probably was something she shouldn't have talked about while she's sitting on the bench in a trial that's live streamed. That's on her. But occasionally the media is doing a good job of turning off the mics when there's, lawyers walk up to talk to a witness, or when they go up and talk to the judge on the stand. But yeah, it seems like the trial is careening down the tracks, and they're trying to blame somebody who's not at fault for the problems. Anyway, so that's where we are. We need an insider. Who's going to court next week? I know Bree went today. That was great. Let's see if we've got somebody here.
Call from Braxton.
Braxton, I know you've got a few questions for us. What is on your mind? This is Braxton from chat, by the way. Heaps.
I have a lot. I've been watching chat here and in other chats.
Yeah.
And I've started writing them down.
Okay. You need to submit them in numbered format. So, no, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Thoughts on the crime scene?
The police messed this one up, okay? Not so much that I think they should not be able to prosecute, but, man, it's messy. It should have been cleaner. But it is what it is. We can't go back and change that. We have it's a sort of unique setting because it's a movie set. So many people are involved. So many people are on a regular, day-to-day basis at the crime scene and involved in some way or another. It's the cops weren't used to that. The people weren't used to the cops being there. It was a mess. And then you had some things I think that were happening that shouldn't have been, and people that were trying to cover for other people or themselves. And it's just, it's a bizarre, I don't know what value we get when we have so many instances where a witness was not separated properly and was crowded in with everyone else. How can we say that, yes, their testimony is good after they got to stand and talk with everyone else who wanted to tell them what actually happened for an hour before we or 2 hours before we question them? That's troubling.
Absolutely. That's right where I'm at. Like, the fact that there was no scene log, that they were letting people behind the tape that shouldn't have been, that they were letting people actually touch evidence.
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. But I think as bad as that was, what they got is enough to prosecute. The bar is low for this, right? The bar is low, and it's and the fact that there was a bullet in the gun and it shot the person. There's some things they don't have to prove. They don't have to prove that there was a bullet in the gun, right? We know that from the evidence. The ground is wet. It was raining. We can even though it's circumstantial, we can see that. And there was one person responsible to make sure there wasn't a bullet in the gun, and we're prosecuting her. I think it's a low bar. I think it's an easy, it's an easy home run for the prosecution, unless we blow it for some reason mid-trial here. But.
Yeah, the issue I have with it is we have facts surrounding it that can help prove where things came from, but I'm at the point where just about everything on that scene is circumstantial. I can't see it as fact. This means the defense is doing a good job, okay? Because the defense's whole role here is to cast doubt, to say, yes, we heard that story from the prosecution and it sounded bad, right? It sounds like we had somebody who completely just threw ammunition and guns around and said, "Here, you guys, help yourselves, do what you want." But the way they're able to cast doubt at every single thing and say, wasn't there somebody else that had access here? Wasn't there, wasn't this person there? Didn't they have motive here? We have some cameramen that were disgruntled and they had access to the scene that morning. That is just little injecting doubt. That's good. But circumstantial evidence and physical evidence are equal. One is not greater than the other. The jury's doesn't look at it and say, well, I've got the video on this one, and this one I just have to put the pieces together. So clearly, I trust this one more. It can be all circumstantial. We've seen convictions with virtually all circumstantial evidence before, and they can do that. But and I think honestly, I think they can reach that. It seems easy to reach that with an armorer, with what they need to hit on what she was supposed to do, what her job was, what her contract said, and what happened, and you can say, even if we don't know the pieces, even if we don't know how the bullets got there, even if we don't know, who it's handed to or who had access to the prop truck at different times, the handing to is probably more of an issue. I think they could find that she was liable. Oh yeah, yeah.
But any other questions?
The scene. Yeah, I do have a few. Right now? What would sway you to not guilty, if anything?
To not guilty, you'd basically have to say that you'd have to prove that she was doing her job well. And I hate that, because there's no burden on the defense whatsoever to prove anything in a trial, right? But everything I've seen is that I get this picture of a young girl in a job that she probably was not ready for, and really didn't take as seriously as she should have, or possibly and alternately same girl in this job, and worked so hard that she can't do well at either job, and she's just running too fast. Either way, we end up with a situation where the proper procedural methods and training systems were not followed. How do we know that? Well, there were 2 other accidental discharges on the set, times when the gun went off when it shouldn't. Now, I don't know if we're going to find out the facts that, hey, this gun went off when it was supposed to have dummies and it had blanks instead. Or this, was there another live round that was fired and another scene that just nobody got hit and we're not hearing this story? But it was enough that the camera crew said, we're out. Okay, and the camera crew walking off a set mid shoot, like, we're done today. It's it. This is over. We'll come back tomorrow and get our water bottles and our hoodies, and that's it. So yeah, there's some problems there, and I think that she's a woman. I apologize. I said a young girl. She's definitely a woman. She was an adult when she got the job. She was 24. Please do not call women over 18 to 20-year-old girls. My apology. I apologize. That was wrong. But you've got this situation that no matter which way you spin it, it looks like she failed at her job. And her job was to make sure that it was safe, and it wasn't safe. So to get to not guilty, I would have to
I'd have to have evidence of her, a log of the firearms, of what was checked out, where the bullets were coming from, where they were going back, how many. I want to see some sort of effort on her part that should be there in the evidence, okay, and it should be there, that she was doing her job and taking it seriously, and that the trainings were happening. There was a log of here's the training that occurred, and we prepared this. We spent 30 minutes with Alec Baldwin, preparing him and teaching him about the importance of cross draw and securing the scene. And we talked about the cast that morning, saying, hey, we're going to have firearms on the set today. I need everyone to, this is our no-go zone, or I want to see something like that that would just show me that she was doing right.
Anything.
Yeah. But I don't want to see a little baggie of cocaine. I can tell you that. That's and text messages about smoking sessions. That's not convincing me of anything good for her.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's so interesting. Now, what's your thought on the credibility of the cop that they had on the stand yesterday?
I was talking with my wife about this. I think you're talking about the one who was standing. That's the one whose body camera we saw. The second officer.
Yep.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he starts
the
with
one
a B.
who was in control of the scene.
Yeah, he was sort of in charge, giving a lot of directions. I believe that most of what he testified to, he was testifying to what appeared on his body cam. Like he had reviewed that, and he reviewed his actions, and that's what he was testifying to. And you cannot see where he's looking on his body cam. But I have never in my life seen a police officer look like an owl. And that's why we have an owl on our drawing here. I mean, let me show you on our thumbnail right here, on top of the post here on the right of the Bonanza sign. We have an owl because he claims that he was facing one direction, yet constantly looking the other over his shoulder. And I don't buy that. Yes, that covers his butt. Right? And that's what it was. It was a CYA, but he lost me on credibility on that. I don't think that anything necessarily happens that in that moment when he wasn't, keeping eyes on the cart as it was being brought to him, that somebody swapped something or took something off. I don't think that happened, but still him testifying that nothing happened because I had my eye on it the entire time, even while I spun in a circle. Yeah. I'm not buying that.
That no one was watching the cart previous to this. That's when it was taken into evidence.
Yeah, or the prop
exactly.
truck. I think earlier on in his walk around on the scene, I think he walked by the cart, and so he saw the cart. It appears on his body cam, or at least I think it was that same cart appeared on his body cam prior to it being brought to him, and it looked very similar. And I think the state brought that out in questioning and direct, that it looked similar to, that he was able to put his eyes on it and it looked the same as it was brought to him.
Yeah. There were so many failings from so many people. It's so hard to understand how things can fail at so many points.
Yeah, it's terrible. And honestly, we can look at this and with hindsight, we can take many different people and say each one of these individuals, from Mr. Baldwin to the set, the director guy, everyone who held the gun had an opportunity to stop this, just like we watched in the Crumbly trial, right? The assistant principal carried the gun in the backpack and gave it back to the shooter. Okay, there was a chance to stop it. The teacher picked up the backpack. There was a chance for her to look in the bag. All hindsight, yeah, we wish that would have happened. Hindsight, we wish someone would have flipped it open. And even if they weren't, experts in bullets, if they looked in it and saw that some of the bullets looked different than the others, like two of them are silver, one of them's silver, and two of them are brass, at least that would click. It's like, hey, why are these different? That's all we needed, right? But we do get the impression, I think we're going to hear more, that this was a hectic set, that timelines were crucial, that tempers were short, and that the pressure was on. And so that obviously probably contributed to this. And she was young. She was a young woman. I can't say girl. She was a young woman.
Too young for this.
We heard
I'm 21.
This is a job that normally you'd have a seasoned veteran on. Okay, when you have a movie set, and I realize when you start getting down to low budget films, that rule is blurred more. And this was a low budget film, but generally somebody in a position like this, somebody over, if you're doing special effects with explosives, you're not going to have like the new guy straight out of college. Like, yeah, I can make something blow up. That's not the guy you put in charge of safety on the scene.
Yeah.
But all right. I feel better. Do you have any more questions to ask? Because that was very cathartic for me.
I do have a few. Okay. So I went back and watched yesterday. George, the bailiff,
yes,
did take his phone.
Did take his phone? He didn't just move the microphone?
He went over once. He went over once to grab the microphone and move it over. And he went over again to grab something else from directly in front of him where he had been tapping and looking. He grabbed the phone.
I thought I saw that. So maybe even if it didn't appear, it looks like George took the phone from the witness. Okay.
Yeah. I went back and watched it like 3 times.
Man.
Like, he goes back twice, which is why it's hard to tell. You think he's just moving another microphone or moving it again, but he goes and he grabs something.
That is crazy. There's so much going on in this courtroom that almost everywhere we look, there's something interesting to see. George is everywhere, which is awesome. George sounds like the man. I want a courtroom with George every trial, right? He knows how to run the equipment. He knows the procedures. He's clearly a professional. But man, I wish I was in the courtroom now. I wish I knew everything.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question.
One last one.
Yeah.
Yep. Thoughts on the fact that they didn't even investigate the rounds from the gun, that we don't know which rounds were in the gun.
The problem on that is that that when the gun was given to the police, it was empty, which means someone took the whatever rounds or cartridges that were in dummy, loaded, live, whatever it was, took them out of the gun. Now, I think my gut feel is they were taken out and dumped on that cart. Because we had on that cart, we had a spent cartridge in the right caliber for that gun. And that was just the casing. That's all that's left. There's no gunpowder. There's no bullet. The bullet obviously was in somebody's shoulder at the time. And I think that may have been, in my gut feel, I'd say that's what it was, because that's the only one they really found loose like that in that setting. There was a bag of spent casings that was packaged differently. But I think that might be it.
And I agree. That's the most likely scenario for the spent casing. But they didn't even ask about it. Yeah. There is nothing in this trial where they have even said that this spent casing came from that gun and that was the one that was fired.
Well, they
have not said it.
We have some problems with that because I think the gun doesn't exist anymore. That's my take.
It doesn't.
We've only seen pictures. I think the gun was destroyed, and it was destroyed improperly because it should be saved for something like this.
The FBI destroyed it while testing.
Oops.
They had to destroy it to get it to fire. That is what they had to do. For it to misfire, they had to destroy the gun.
Man, I hope they got all the testing they wanted out of that. But anyway, Braxton, thank you very much. Great questions. I've got another caller who's been very persistent trying to get through.
Awesome. Yep.
So, thank you.
Have
good
a good
talking
one.
to you, my friend. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Call from Maui Bell.
Hello, Maui Bell. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
I miss you.
Welcome.
No, I've been here. I just can't type, but I've been watching everything. So I have 2 points. Number one is that let's swap this young woman thing for a young man who goes into the service when he's 18 and is on the battlefield maybe twice or 3 times by the time he's 24. He's had training. He's supposed to follow that training. And I mean, I don't think anyone would say, oh, well, he didn't get the gun off because he didn't have the training. No, because he's 24. No, he's had training. And her father is a well-known
armor.
What is it?
The armor.
Yeah. I love that word because it sounds like a more, always love it.
Sounds French. Armorer. Yes. Has an accent on top.
So that's one thing. I really, that's bothering me that we wouldn't hold a woman to the same, this is what everybody wants, right? Women are held to the same standard. Well, that's not the same standard to say, oh, she's a young girl. I saw that in the other trial where the young girl went after that man. And then in that case, they're saying, oh, well, she didn't know what she was doing. She was young, but they did convict her. And the other thing is that people are upset about the sheriff and his deputies. I don't know. How big is that county? Do you have any idea?
I don't know the size of the county or the size of the personnel, but I know that they had initially only 3 officers or 3 deputies on scene. It grew.
Right. This is a small county.
Yeah.
It's widespread. I mean, this is New Mexico. The chief couldn't get there in 15. He got there in 15 minutes as fast as they could. So I have a feeling that it's desert, really spread out, and it's why they would have 100 officers and investigators on is not the question. It's not about them. They did the best they could. That whole thing about, oh, put them in cars. No. Well, everybody could be separated by 100 miles. We still have telephones, and we can text each other.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The problem is you've got an incident that becomes not a mass casualty incident, but a mass witness incident, and the police have procedures in place for when there's a major car wreck or like lots of injured people or an earthquake. They've got we're going to set up our center here. This is going to be communications. We're going to run cameras here. Here's our public information officer, and we've got this. They've got a system, the incident command system, the ICS system that they train on. And you almost needed that to be implemented here, but you've got basically your deputies, your end of the line deputies, with just a couple of years experience, between all of them, who are suddenly put in a situation where they're completely outnumbered. And it's not that there were people against them; it's just there was so much to do that they were herding cats.
I really thought they did a good job. I mean, when the chief or the head, whatever the head sheriff was. When they showed his body cam, and his head was on a swivel. He was looking all over. And then, the sheriff's deputies came up to him and said, what do you want me to do? Like, that happened 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he was the senior officer on scene. He was in charge at that time.
He knew what to do, and he just told them, do this, do that, do this. And he asked the first deputy, he said, did you try to, keep them separate? He said, I tried the best I could.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we should look at. I mean, it was not their fault. It's definitely, in my eyes, it was definitely her fault, but I am not going to say she was inexperienced. I don't know what other times she worked in this job. I wish they'd bring that up.
I can tell you, she's had this job one time before, and that was on a movie with Nicolas Cage, where there were complaints about safety as well with firearms. She's also been an assistant on at least one other job. And other than
that's why the cameraman quit.
Her dad brought her to work, and that's like, so there's not a lot.
So, yeah, but there is some people looking at it saying, "Oh, it was nepotism, so we'll get her." I suppose I could see that.
I haven't seen the evidence of that yet. I think
no.
I don't think her dad got her the job. I think she got the job because she wanted it and she went for it and got it. I think it also helped that it was a low budget film. Where they didn't have the money to spend on her dad, so
right.
But anyway, Maui Bell, great to hear from you. Thanks for the calls. Appreciate it.
You too. Always watching.
Yep.
Got my eye on you.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll see you. Bye. All right. I think we're going to take one more call if they want to. They tried to call a couple times. I didn't see who it was. Let's see. Oh, here it is right here. This was it.
Call from
AWOL.
AWOL, how are you doing? You get to be our final caller of the show today. So finish us off in style. What are your thoughts today?
Oh, man, don't let the pressure get too crazy.
No pressure whatsoever.
The question for the jury is who won the fight between the roaches?
Yes. Okay. I don't know who won.
Yeah. But the more that I watch these trials, and I love all this true crime, and I love the evidence and the facts of everything. But I also watch these trials just to see how certain courtrooms and certain states handle their courtroom.
Yeah.
So now, I think if we were a computer and we could put all these trials into an algorithm, you would be the best lawyer ever. If you can put all these trials together. No, not you. I'm saying anybody in general. Like, if it was that simple to put all the way, because now today ended with a little bit of a question mark where it's like, what happened? You get what I mean? So it's like it was a little confusing.
I'll tell you this: every courtroom in every state. For those who are outside the United States, United States is one big country, but we have 50 individual states inside that, and every state is like its own little country when it comes to the laws because they have their own laws in the books. We have federal laws, we have state laws, and the state laws vary. The punishments vary. Some things are legal in one state that are highly illegal in another, and there's no uniform rule system that encompasses everything other than federal laws. And so just like those laws are different, this is why lawyers, when they get their law license, they're licensed to practice in specific states because it requires specific training to learn how the system works there in that state. Kurt, who was on the phone with us this morning, he's licensed to practice in Virginia. He's licensed to practice in Texas. He can do that, but you send him to North Dakota and he might be a fish out of water.
There.
Yeah, he might be a fish out of. Now, maybe Kurt's a smart guy. He'd be able to probably handle that and be like, as long as I can get the stamp of approval from the bar association or get permission to operate, I can do that. He's smart that way. But the laws are different. The rules of court are different. And here, not just are the rules different, but every judge also operates a little bit differently. So they have the same sort of base guidelines, but they're like, when my court, says Judge Newman, I like to pick the jury foreman, and it's going to be you. And we're like, who does that? Only Judge Newman. But he can do that in his court. Other courts, the jury goes out and they do a blind straw poll, and the winner is the jury foreman. So every court's a little different. We like the ones that have jury questions. We like the ones that open up to for transparency for cameras. There are some courts in some states that are just tight, closed tight. And try watching a court out of New York. It just doesn't happen.
Good luck with that one. Yeah. I'm from New Jersey, and good luck getting in there with cameras. But at the end, and also we also have to understand that these are all the players in this, and any courtroom are humans, and humans are not infallible. They all have problems. We all have faults. But now, just because an attorney does something that we might consider a goof or a mess up, the famous saying is, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. What if some of these attorneys that us as viewers see as, they messed up? What if they thought that they were going to get this off and they just got caught cheating in a way, per se? So, and to us, it looks like they messed up. But they were like, if I can get this off, then it might be a win for my team.
I give lawyers a little bit more credit than that because, first of all, it takes a lot of work to get where they are, and it's very easy to lose the position they have. If they get caught cheating, you lose your license to practice law. I mean, it's no small thing. I mean, there could be civil penalties, there could be criminal penalties involved, and so,
I mean cheating strategically. I don't mean cheating like legit cheating. I mean cheating strategically, where it's not breaking against the bar. I mean like
like the move we saw from the prosecution today, where she tried to impeach her own witness with a bit of evidence she couldn't get in any other way. and
exactly, that was kind of slick.
Yes, it was that's the 4D chess that you hear a lot of times, like Rob will talk about.
Exactly.
That it's just next level, and sometimes you have to play the game 4 steps ahead of your competition to be able to win. That's not cheating. That just takes big brain capabilities that I don't have.
And I will let you go right now, but I got one question on the prop card.
Yeah.
That popped in my mind. They made the prop card seem like it was real messy, but we also had the testimony that I forgot the other woman's name, I believe, that dealt with the props that threw away some rounds.
Sarah?
What if they were searching? Yes. What if they were searching for the rounds and in the midst of the chaos, fumbled the card around and all the contents in it? And then the card now looks messy, so it looks like Hannah had a messy card. But what if she was organized?
Well,
there's too much confusion in the picture, I think, for that. I think we're going to hear from other witnesses that this was normal. I think that's going to happen. We look at all the different bags that existed in the prop truck where only she should have been going. And it was a mess, and we've just got the ammunition, the way it was stored. I think this was probably par for the course as opposed to just a one-off and that somebody else sort of sabotaged at the last minute.
Correct. Well, anyway, thank you for what you do.
Hey, well, it's always great to
Shout
talk
out
to you.
chat.
Thanks for ending the call-in session with that. I appreciate that. Have yourself a great weekend.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. We'll see you
later.
Bye. All right. Thank you to those who called in. We're going to wrap things up here. I know it's a little bit early, but court is over. It's a surprise early ending. That means we get to kick off the weekend in style. I hope you guys all have amazing plans for the weekend. I hope you have great things to accomplish, places to go, selfies to take, and that you share the selfies with me afterwards. I'd love to hear about the fun places you go. Thank you for all that. We have wrapped day 2 of the Rust trial with Hannah Gutierrez. I cannot say her name. Hannah Gutierrez, who's the armorer on the Rust trial. We're going to be back on Monday at 8:30, which means 10:30 our time. We're going to be back earlier. We're going to do a recap of what happened the previous 2 days. So if you just happen to be walking in on a Friday saying, I've been busy all week, I haven't been able to follow the trial, but next week I'll be here, great. Join us. Join us on Monday. We'll start at 8:30 or 8:45-ish. And we'll do a recap of what happened last week. We're going to get you all caught up to speed so you can just start right then. You don't have to go back and listen to anything about gorillas and cats or me singing badly or anything else. So you can skip all those parts and jump straight to the chase. I think we might hear Monday morning a little bit more about the question the jury heard or was asked today. I'm thinking the judge has to think some stuff over. But the jury's going to be back on Monday. I don't think we're out of the woods on that yet. Obviously, the cameras in the courtroom are on thin ice right now with this judge. It's going to be crazy. You guys have a great weekend. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone. Make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again tomorrow morning. Or not tomorrow morning. Don't make me work the weekends. Monday morning at 8:45. You guys be good to each other. We'll see you. Bye.
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
The zombie apocalypse may be upon